It's 2025. We are back.
I wrote feeling fresh after our first break, but 2 of our 5 people are missing. So how fresh could we really be?
We're feeling fresh.
We are
Everyone else is
halfway
dead.
back. Yo, what is going on, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform Podcast. It's 2025. We're your hosts. I'm Marques.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm David.
And okay, so we're mostly back. Ellis and Adam are both a little sick, taking a little bit of time to get better, rightfully. So at the desk today, Mariah producing. She has all of the buttons. She has all the trivia questions. It's going to be a good time.
They're
Right
already
I'm ready.
Thank you, Mariah. Wow. We have a kind of a mix of things because we took a little bit of time off, so there's been stuff piling up that we want to talk about. A little bit of CES stuff. I should say a lot of CES.
It's
stuff,
mostly
because
CES stuff.
That's happening now, and that's a lot of stuff, but it's like a lot of empty calories. It's like just headline after headline after headline, new stuff. We'll talk about some of it. But what did you guys get into over break? Did you have any fun? Any stories you want to tell?
I have a New Year's Day story that is tech related. And if you follow me on Blue Sky, might have physically or digitally seen me pulling my hair out.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so
Do I follow you?
I spent my entire...
No, I probably do.
I'm pretty sure you do.
I probably do.
I spent my entire New Year's Day because over break, Claire and I noticed that our Google Home, when you asked it the time or the weather, would not respond. And it wasn't like I can't help you with that now. It would just spin. Like spin or light up and just like play the animation and nothing would happen. So at first I was like, I'm way too busy. Whatever. New Year's Day, when you have a 1-year-old, you're in bed way before midnight the night before. So New Year's Day is just
You
another
didn't stay
day.
until the ball drop?
Not even remotely close. If I made it to 10 p.m., I'd be surprised.
Okay.
So New Year's Day, I'm like, I'm going to fix this. I have a pretty chill day. It can't be that hard. Long story short, it was very hard. And I wound up flipping the breaker on my entire house.
Oh my God.
I reset every Google Home I had.
Wow.
I disconnected every single smart home device from my network and re-added them all in. Nothing.
Why was it
And-
so important to get your Google Home working?
Because the weather is like one of the things I ask my Google Home
I
the
need
most.
to know
It's
the weather.
so
Can you
nice.
just look at your phone?
It is, yeah.
I can, but like when I'm getting changed in the morning, like after the shower, it's way easier to say, "What's the weather? Do I need
part
an
of the
extra?"
routine.
Like, yeah,
True.
it's part of the routine
You know,
for sure.
I flip the breaker of my house every morning when I get up too, just to make sure I can check the weather.
No. I that was the one-time thing to try and fix everything. Yeah.
Tech support.
But long story short, and the moral of this story is, in tech, when something is wrong, always check the simplest version of the problem. And what I did after doing all of these stupid things for hours and hours is I went on my phone and I disconnected it from the Wi-Fi and I asked it the weather and it did the same thing, which meant it had nothing to do with my devices or my internet, which meant that it was a Google issue. So then I spent the rest of the day adding all of my smart home devices back onto my account. And then the next day I get tagged in like 30 different times from different articles that's like Google's having some sort of issue, only doing the weather and the time.
Wow.
It was only those specific things. So yeah,
Wow.
there's a million things that went through my head of what could have been
good
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Google's fault.
This is the reason every support person is like, "Sir, is your computer on?"
100%. Is the monitor plugged in?
Yeah.
Is it lying on the ground?
That probably
right now?
is the issue like 60% of the time.
It is.
Yeah.
I did very little like tech support, and it's almost always the
Dang.
like turn it back on.
Yeah. Turn it off, turn it back
off.
on.
Yeah.
It works
Wow.
most of the time.
Well, I'm
So,
sorry
yeah.
for you, and I hope you
It's
can
okay.
now ask the weather to your robot.
I can.
Yeah,
and
good.
they tell me that it is very
So you're
cold in
back.
New
It's
Jersey. It is very cold.
It's cold. It just says it's cold. It's definitely cold.
It cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how you started your year?
That's how I
I
started
can't
my
wait.
year.
What happens the rest of the year for you?
Many
I
more days.
if it happens again, I will be throwing all of my Google stuff out of the window. I can guarantee
well,
that.
just Google it first. Make sure it's not,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
server side issue.
Dang.
Yeah, I had a weird story that was it wasn't supposed to be a story, but it turned out to be a story. which was I sold my Cybertruck. I don't know if you saw the headlines.
Yes.
Now
Why are there headlines?
yeah, this is the thing. So you guys knew, and a lot of people who follow the channels know, I had both a Cybertruck and a Rivian R1T. And we got them, we ordered them around the same time, not knowing which would show up first. And we were going to use them for our car videos, for the tow hitch rig, for the stuff that we set up and get rollers of cars for. And we still use them for that. And I mean, they're kind of the same. They're the same thing. They're both a big, expensive electric truck. So I don't need both of them.
Yeah.
So I was trying to decide which one we were going to keep. And at one point, I realized that this Cybertruck had been sitting in the garage for like a month, and I was just using a Rivian for all the things I was normally using it for, and for the tow hitch stuff, and for any like picking up stuff. I was like, okay, I think we've made our choice. It's the Rivian that I prefer. And so started the process of selling a Cybertruck, found a private seller, sold it. So I posted an Instagram story, sold a Cybertruck, just for the people who knew that we were still picking, and now you know which one I picked. Within 12 hours of that, there were like CBS News headlines that this influencer had picked, over Elon Musk's precious Cybertruck, and there were all these reactions from Tesla fans, and I only posted the Instagram story. There wasn't really any context, so I eventually updated people on like why I picked the Rivian. They're very similar trucks. I like a lot of things about each of them, but I picked the Rivian. The funny part about that was one of the headlines was that, Marques and Elon unfollowed each other on Twitter.
The way I saw it
Over
was
this.
our subreddit said Marques unfollowed Elon. And then
Some other.
I think on Blue Sky I saw, which then I went onto Twitter to see, was Elon unfollowed Marques.
Yeah.
And so I think I came in the morning be like, saw that unfollowing thing. Sorry, that's like blowing up.
Yeah, and the funny thing is I didn't unfollow Elon at all. I woke up to find that my account had unfollowed Elon.
What?
What I assume happened was, how you can like, if someone's like going a little nuts,
remove
you
as
can
a
like,
follower.
you can or you can like block and unblock, sort of soft unfollow, so they don't know that they unfollowed you.
Does that force them to unfollow you?
Yeah, if you block someone,
Yeah.
they can't follow you anymore. So if you like block them and unblock them, they'll stop seeing your stuff.
Because there's no notification that you got blocked.
Wait, so
Yeah. So
did
I
he
had-
block you?
So I was following you. He tweets a ton, and I don't really have any like political follows. Like I follow people who I want to see their stuff, and I don't follow people who I don't want to see their stuff. So Elon is tweeting a lot. I don't know if you noticed.
It's
I
And
didn't
it was getting
notice 'cause
close to where I was like, do I mute him? I still want to see like the important stuff, but there's just too much stuff now. And then when I saw that, I was like, wait, yeah, I just realized I haven't seen any Elon stuff on my timeline in like a couple of days. So I assume he like did
Blocked
something,
you.
either block and unblocked or like.
Well, so now they changed how the block thing works so that you can still see their content if you go to their profile. You just can't engage with it. So
Yeah.
maybe he
I think
is still blocking you?
My theory is no, he didn't block me. Well,
It'll still
I'm not
say
blocked
you're
now.
blocked, I
My
believe.
theory is he just went block, unblock, so that I'm no longer following
Yeah,
the
see,
account.
so if I
Does it
do
say that
like
you're blocked?
only if you catch it in the time that it's happening. So
Yeah.
like if I go to you
Do you
right
wanna
now
block me?
Could
and
you
I
block him real quick?
I
Can you block me real quick?
block you.
Oh,
All right. So now if you go to
Okay.
my page,
it doesn't say anything.
no, it says Andrew Manganelli has
Oh, it
blocked you.
does.
So now if I unblock you,
Then I won't be
refresh
following you
the page.
anymore.
but you're not following me anymore.
yeah.
Cool.
So look,
No confirmation that's what
no
happened.
confirmation. I'm just saying. I just noticed that I had not. I wasn't seeing this stuff anymore. I don't know how personally that guy is taking me selling my Cybertruck, but long story short, yeah, the Rivian is pretty good at all the things we use it for. I miss things about the Cybertruck. Don't get it wrong. I miss the larger second row, the larger bed, the way better speakers, the four-wheel steering. There's a lot of things that are better about the Cybertruck, but there are also things that are better about the Rivian, including being smaller and more nimble, parking in New York City with that thing. I like the design better. I like the gear tunnel better. I like a lot of the materials and the build and fit and finish better. So there's things on each side, but I picked one, and that was that. But that was what happened over break for me.
Yeah.
So
Everyone dramatizes everything now.
that's a fact.
You don't want to
sold a
read about
car.
that?
It's a fact.
because
But yeah.
it's not a story. It's not
I wish.
Well, the story was like once the Twitter drama happened, then it's a story for them.
The funny thing is, it wasn't even Twitter drama because you didn't even do anything.
Yep.
It's Twitter drama that happened to you.
Manufactured.
Wow.
I would say. But here we are.
Well, my break was much less dramatic than both of yours.
Nice.
I just went to California and I went to my rattlesnake den that I grew up in.
What does
on
that
top
mean?
of.
Wait, what?
Not a literal.
Do you not
rattlesnake
have one?
den.
At?
No,
What is a
literal-
rattlesnake den?
So,
I-
I told you guys how Chuck Yeager like ruined my childhood, right? The guy that broke the sound barrier.
I vaguely remember some of, and like the street is changed names.
Yeah,
now or
like
something.
my mom named it, and then he bought my road, and then he renamed it to Chuck Yeager Road.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that road, at the top of the road, on the top of a mountain, is a rattlesnake den that my parents did not know was a rattlesnake den when they built the house on top of it.
An actual.
An
rattlesnake.
actual rattlesnake den.
Oh, okay.
So, like, we just had tons of rattlesnakes all the time. Regardless, I went back there, haven't been there since I was like 15. And I was really afraid of getting shot because there was lots of signs that were like, do not come here, like back off, like all this stuff. Because it's in the middle of nowhere. But I went up to the house and I knocked on the door. And a very nice lady let me in. She's like, yeah, this lot was just sitting here for like 4 years. We bought it from the bank for like nothing. And then they remodeled it and it was cute and it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
So you
imagining
went back to the house that you
That I grew
grew
up
up
in.
in.
Yeah.
I've thought about doing that.
It was crazy because I haven't been there since I was like 14, which means more than half my life I have not been associated with that area. So it feels like it feels like a long time ago I watched a movie that was my childhood.
You know, I might have told you guys this already, but a very high percentage of the dreams that I have take place in the house I grew up in.
Really?
Mine take place in my
+%.
elementary school.
In the school? 90?
Just like wandering the halls, and I want to go back to my old school so bad, and
Yeah.
just like walk the halls. And
I don't
see
know
what
if
it's
that would
like, but I'm
help.
gonna get arrested if I do. So.
Yeah, don't do that. Without being announced, probably don't do that.
Don't do that, please.
I did go to my high school because I brought a friend with me and I wanted to show her like everything about my childhood. So I showed her
Yeah.
my high school, but it was not open when we went. It was on a weekend.
But you can still get in.
Wait, you went in?
Well, there's no inside really. It's like an all outdoor.
Oh, California.
Oh,
right.
yeah. Florida has that too.
It's like living in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if visiting the house would like solve that or what, but I've driven past it a few times.
That still happens to you, the dreams?
To this day, 90-something percent of the dreams that I have are either in my bedroom, on the stairs between the bedroom and the kitchen, or just around that house.
You
That's
should
wild.
keep like a dream journal where you wake up and you
Maybe.
write it all down.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
analyze it on the podcast next week.
Yeah. One of them recently was on the block of the house. It wasn't in the house, but it was like I rode my bike down that block a lot.
Dang.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, mine was fairly undramatic. I sailed around San Francisco, around the bay on a sailboat.
awesome.
It was really cool. I couldn't go to Lake Tahoe because the pass was snowed over, and I told you guys this before the podcast started. I started the screen time thing on my phone to see how much time I was going to use my phone every day, and it was like 24 minutes a day,
That's crazy.
which was incredible. It was just, my
Spent
brain was
24
healed.
minutes.
Mine
just
was the
now.
opposite. Yeah. I had to get those 45 wins in Pokemon the card game, and that took a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
And I did do it, though.
Oh, speaking
proud.
of phones, so I did review the OnePlus 13. I really like that phone a lot. There's a lot of good things about it. The main pillars of the review are that there are 3 things about that phone that are really, really good, but are trends and that are going to be really, really good about a lot of phones in 2025. The Snapdragon 8 Elite is amazing. Great battery, great high-end performance, great gaming.
Was it
great
overheating
efficiency.
at all?
Never.
No?
No issues at all. So I
good.
marked that as a win for that chip. The 6,000 milliamp hour battery, the carbon, what are we calling it? Silicon carbon battery. Again, awesome. Like the battery in that phone, obviously having a lot of capacity is great, but it also managed the battery great. Could not kill it in a day. Not even if I tried.
Wow.
I had like a day where I drove back and forth home and then picked my parents up from the airport and came back and like high brightness Waze navigation the whole time streaming Bluetooth, like 5 hours of Waze navigation for the day. So
Waze
like
navigation
40%.
with not plugging in feels
That feels like you're trying to kill your
illegal.
phone.
Yeah, it feels.
Because I was like, I will not plug this phone in. And I got to the end of the day, it was like, yeah, no problem, 44%, ready to go. So battery amazing, chip amazing, and then the screen, like we've seen this for like the past year or so, but it's going to keep happening. You're going to get phones with like 4,000 nits peak brightness in HDR and like 1,500 nits of full screen brightness and high brightness mode. Great screen. I could see it all the time outside, no matter what I tried to do. So I love that phone. It has also like nailed the other fundamentals. There's some weird quirks in Oxygen OS I don't love, but the thing that's keeping me from using it as a daily is it doesn't have Wi-Fi calling on AT&T. And so I can't, there's not good enough signal in this studio.
Yeah.
And so I can't keep using it. I'm missing important calls.
This is something I found out with my Zen phone is that, and I think I remember pleading to people, is like it has Wi-Fi calling, right?
Yeah.
The feature is available. It just
carrier
has to
has to
be
turn it on.
approved.
That's really annoying that carriers apparently have to whitelist it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I originally found out with T-Mobile after hours of talking to them.
And they probably won't really do any phone that they don't sell.
Yep. It's basically
Or it's
the
like-
ones they sell are the ones that get approved. So the Pixel, the iPhone, the Samsung, the major ones, they all work. And OnePlus phones for years on AT&T have not had Wi-Fi calling.
T-Mobile, do they still sell OnePlus phones? Because they had that deal with OnePlus when the OnePlus 6T first came out, where they started selling OnePlus.
For some reason, I thought
phones.
Verizon was the OnePlus people.
No, they always it always sort of worked on Verizon, but not officially.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they had like unofficial support for Verizon.
Yeah, there's like years of forum posts from like years and years of OnePlus phones for people on AT&T being like, hey, does Wi-Fi calling not work?
So
and
annoying.
it's been true for a long time. I remember I had this with the OnePlus 7. I wanted to use Wi-Fi calling and it didn't
It looks
ever
like
show up.
They don't
T-Mobile has a couple.
do they?
Couple
Unless I'm
OnePlus?
looking at an old page.
Because I went to their website and I went to smartphones and then I went to brands and there is a OnePlus like filter, but when you click it, it has no results.
Nothing, yeah.
So they at one point sold some OnePlus phones.
Yeah.
Either way, I like that phone enough that I would daily it. The camera as a weakness, being a B+ camera, is totally fine. So, yeah, that was a good phone. That was the first review of the year. Go watch that video if you haven't already. We'll link it below.
I have kind of a segue from that.
Yes.
So one thing with the OnePlus phone is it has their first-party cases, which is something OnePlus does very good all the time. Actually, I brought some in, and they have these magnets for like MagSafe. One question we've had a lot of that we kind of got the answer to this week at CES, unfortunately, is so the WPC, the Wireless Power Consortium, lists Qi 2 as needing the magnets, and we are Qi 2 purists here.
That's right.
Well, a fellow Qi 2 purist, Ben Shun,
Yeah.
wrote 2 articles at CES so far. One about Samsung having Qi 2.
Because they announced that they would
Exactly.
in Galaxy devices.
And then like a day later, the WPC announcing that Qi 2 will have
a subdivision
extensions
of extensions
to Qi 2.
Yeah.
One of them being something called Qi 2 Ready,
I hate
which I know from them says the growth of the Qi 2 ecosystem will continue with the introduction of Qi 2 Ready certified devices. These devices, smartphones, and accessories such as cases deliver the full Qi 2 user experience when paired together in approved combinations.
Well, okay, but you have to have two things. So it's a full experience, but if you also buy the accessory.
Can I just point out, it was like 3 weeks ago that the guy from the Wireless Power Consortium was like, I need to make something very clear. For something to be Qi 2, it must have magnets.
Technically, that is still true. For something to be Qi 2 Ready,
Yeah.
which is like the official naming of it,
Different
not just
thing.
that it is
Totally
ready
different.
for Qi 2, it is called Qi 2 Ready.
Semantics ruin the world. I hate it.
So yeah, if the wireless coil inside of the phone meets the Qi 2 specifications minus the magnets, it is not Qi 2. But if it has
But it's
an
ready. But it can
be
approved case,
called
no.
Qi 2.
As long as it has an approved case from Qi 2 with the magnets that line up correctly, it can
it's
then
ready.
be Qi 2 ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad.
My
No,
take.
don't do that.
Mariah is
well played.
on. She must have been practicing yesterday. She's ready.
My take is, so I was using the phones and I was happily enjoying that I could slap a case on and then drop it on any MagSafe accessory.
But Marques.
And so the way I phrased it in the video was like, okay, I'm a no case person, because there's two sides of this. I'm a no case person, and I literally in the Rivian I have one of these cases so that when I go drive, I sit down, I put the case on, and I pop it in the dash.
Doesn't
so that I
need
can
to
use
be
Waze.
this way.
And when I get out the car, I take the case off and I go inside.
Oh my
But
gosh.
the other side of that is, let's be honest, most people use a case. And
know.
so
But-
if you just spend $20, $30 or whatever it is, yes, it's an upcharge, but it's as good, for most people, it's as good as having.
But then also, in order to be like officially Qi 2, it's going to need a Qi 2 Ready certified case, and that certification is going to cost money.
So the case won't be cheap.
So it's either the case won't be cheap, or the random case that you buy on Amazon will say it's ready, but won't actually be officially Qi 2 ready, and then it won't really work quite as well. Or I don't think that they have like a microcontroller that says this is a Qi 2 case, because you know how Apple, when you put an official MagSafe case on it, it does a little special animation because it knows.
I think there might be. Look
There
at
might be.
so there's like the magnet here.
Well,
and
does this
there's
phone have
also
Qi 2?
this. It's Qi 2 ready.
the phone?
Was this?
Or
I
is
don't
it
think
just a
OnePlus
magnet?
13 said.
Oh, maybe it's not Qi 2.
I think they just have a magnet in the case.
Yeah, because OnePlus never used the words Qi 2, but
Correct.
they literally, maybe I shouldn't say this, but in the press briefing, they said this works with MagSafe. They told me this works with MagSafe. So they're like, use MagSafe accessories. And I was like,
They
great.
won't market it that
They're not
way,
going
but
to
they'll
publicly
tell us
say
that
that. But
internally,
they also have this little thing up here by the NFC chip. So maybe that has something to do with telling the phone the case is on.
Oh, interesting.
They each have that.
Okay.
Either way, it worked with everything MagSafe. So it was mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing with Qi 2 is like they want the magnets to align perfectly so you can get the highest rate of charging possible because Qi 2 standard is going to evolve over time to allow you to pump more power into your phone.
Yeah.
And they need to make sure that the coils are perfectly aligned.
And
because
it is-
otherwise it's meh.
It is nice that there's some sort of standard that these cases have to be to get that, which means we're getting the best possible way for it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like you said, there's two people, there's case people.
I mean, I want it in the phone.
I know.
Let's be clear.
But
Yes,
I think
want
the
it.
difference is
Yeah.
everyone outside of listening to this podcast
Uses the case.
uses the case. And if they get the first party one, it's perfect.
Yeah.
For people in this room and or listening to this podcast,
Put it in
I
the
think
phone.
that's where we have the people that might be like, please. put
The
it in
just
phone.
intense irony of all these companies being like, we etched a special S pattern into the back of the device,
Glass.
and the emerald green reflects our heart. Something like that. You know, it's like stuff like that. And then they're like,
Yeah.
but you're gonna put a case on it, right?
Yeah. I will be giving points. I will be giving phones extra credit this year for building in the magnets. Put it that way.
Thank you.
I will be appreciating those extra.
And if you're gonna build in these special silicon carbon batteries or whatever that have more density, then you have more room to put a magnet.
True. But they're putting so many big batteries in these phones.
That's true.
The numbers of the OnePlus 13 battery, 6,000 milliamp hours.
Yeah.
Compared directly with the OnePlus 12, the phone is thinner,
Yeah.
lighter, and has 600 more milliamp hours of battery.
Finally.
That's amazing.
I remember being like 12 years old and seeing all these articles in Wired being like, the battery of the future has just been invented and it will be in your stuff really soon. And then it never came.
It's graphene.
So it's just, well, graphene was the main one, but it's always like, this professor just discovered a new way to have unlimited power density. And
It's funny because even the silicon carbon one, it's not just silicon carbon because silicon carbon swells so badly
Yeah, it's a
that it's like a
it's
composite.
like a composite
yeah.
with like salt. Yeah.
But it works. These phones are lasting forever. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah. I'm glad we're going to see that a lot more.
We have a lot more to talk about with CES, etc. So we'll get to that in a second. But before we do that, let's take a quick break and do some trivia.
Trivia, dude.
I think that's the longest I've gone without hearing that jingle. 2 weeks.
You didn't
Plays
play
in my
it
head.
on every day just to hear it
How-
once in a while?
When I
to
arrive
feel
at my
something.
destination in my car.
Wow, wake up in a cold sweat to that sound. Well, as you know, CES 2025 is here, and we've already seen some bangers come out, but it wouldn't be CES without some absolutely heinous products. I did not make this list. I want you to know that. And so the question for you is, which of the following is not a real product from
I knew this.
CES?
Hey, these are always the best.
Could be anything.
Okay, so we have a couple options for you. Option A is a Razer heated and cooled gaming chair. Option B is a 3D printer that prints cake batter and bakes it with a laser. That sounds like a lot.
That sounds dope
That's
as hell.
crazy as hell.
I want that.
Option C, Samsung stretchable display that just sort of bulges out sometimes.
Like bubbles.
Unclear.
What direction?
This is an Ellis and Adam writing.
4D.
Option D, Mirumi. I don't know, a furry little companion bot that
always real.
imitates a shy infant and stealing glances nearby people while clinging to a bag strap. That's a title from The Verge.
That's real.
That's
got to be real.
That's crazy.
Allegedly.
I have no question. I've seen that. I've definitely seen that before.
That's in your dreams. And then option E.
Wait, there's 5 questions?
Option E is
Five
just
options?
they're all real.
Oh.
So I'll let you simmer on that, think about that, and we'll come back.
Man. This is a trick question. Is it a trick question that it's a trick question? That's the.
I wanted to. Yeah. Well, okay. We'll think about that. Answers will be at the end like usual. We'll be right back. Support for Waveform comes from Shopify. Here's something small business owners say every single January. It's a new year, and I'm going to make that change to help grow my business. They said it in 2024, 2023, 2022, and so on and so on. And now they're coming into the new year making the same sorts of statements instead of asking the right questions. Questions like, how am I going to make this year different? Or how am I going to build something for myself? Well, if you really want to make that change, maybe even become your own boss and see if you can turn your business idea into a reality, then you should start by looking into Shopify. The best time to start your new business is right now. Shopify is the all-in-one digital commerce platform that wants to help your business sell better than ever before. You can get your store up and running easily with thousands of customizable templates, no coding or design skills required. Plus, Shopify makes it easy to manage your growing business by providing you with details like shipping, taxes, and payments from one single dashboard, allowing you to focus on the important stuff like growing your business. Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/waveform, all lowercase. So go to shopify.com/waveform to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/waveform. Support for Waveform comes from Coda. Picture this, you're starting a new project at work and your vision is clear. You know exactly who's doing what and where to find the data you need to do your part. In fact, you don't have to waste any time searching for anything because everything your team needs, from project trackers and OKRs to documents and spreadsheets, lives in one tab, all in Coda. So with Coda's collaborative all-in-one workspace, you get the flexibility of docs, the structure of spreadsheets, the power of applications, and the intelligence of AI in one easy-to-organize tab. Coda connects tools and teams so that you spend less time switching gears. More than 50,000 teams trust Coda to keep them more aligned and focused, so try it for yourself. Go to coda.io/wave today and get started for free. That's coda.io/wave to get started for free. Coda.io/wave. All right, welcome back. So CES is a thing that's happening. You know what's crazy? I haven't been to CES in 4 years.
This
Since
will be
2020.
the fourth one you missed, right? Because we went to 2020.
I went to 2020.
Yeah.
The original Super Spreader event.
Yeah.
And then I haven't gone since. So 21 I didn't go, 22 I didn't go, 23 I didn't go, 24 I didn't go, now it's 25.
Yeah.
So this is the fifth one.
Yeah.
Well, 1, 2.
I didn't go to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I don't hate that. I actually kind of like that we can see all the stuff that's happening at CES, and if there's a couple things that are standing out like diamonds in the rough, then we can pursue those right after CES. So shout out to everyone who's making the sacrifice, who is in the thick of it in Vegas, who is finding the stuff, right? Yeah. And now we get to sit here in the cozy podcast studio and go, oh, that seems cool.
The real heroes out there.
Neat. So yeah, shout out to the frontline workers at CES. One of the biggest headlines, of course, is Nvidia sort of delivers their keynote. They have the RTX 5000 series cards. There are new prices, new capabilities, new AI stuff. Andrew, being the resident gamer, do you want to walk us through?
David and I are going to tackle this together.
Okay.
Because we both play games. This is, do you know how Tim and Miles did it once and they were really ripped? This was the light version of that.
The discount version.
The discount version. Yeah. But we're going to cover this together. We're not gaming channels.
No.
There are gaming channels. You all know LTT and Gamers Nexus will do the insane coverage of
I've
this
watched
stuff.
some of them.
I watched some. I watched Linus's first one.
Yeah, I watched some of the highlight stuff. Yeah.
So let's start with the graphics card.
Okay.
Because the 50 series, I'm sure you're going to get some shit for calling it the 5000 series.
My bad, 50 series. But it's RTX 5070, 5070 Ti, 5080, 5090.
That's what got released. Correct.
That's what got shown on stage. And they had the price tags, and there was a big screenshot of this one's cheap, it's a good deal. This one's expensive, that's crazy.
Cool. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Prices.
Good way to start.
5070, $549. 5070 Ti, $749. 5080, $999. 5090, $1,999. So the thing that strikes right there is that I believe the 5070, 5070 Ti, and 5080, if you take their 40 series counterparts, are all cheaper than they were when the 40 series originally came out.
That's good.
While the 5090 is $400 more than when did I say 50? The 5090 is $400 more than the original $1,600 base of the 4090 when it first came out.
Okay.
$2,000 is a crazy number.
Was the 4090 the first one to have a 90?
I thought there was a
model?
3090.
Was there a 3090? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was our 20?
I know the 4090 was pretty
Us
high. We
asking
made a
that
video
is
about
where you should gauge how much you take.
I used to be
Our information
really
is
into
a
this stuff
3090.
a long time
Same.
ago. Yeah.
The 3090, I believe, is the one that we got in the main
I thought
gear.
that was a 4090.
I'm pretty sure
The
it's a
8K gaming
3090.
one, so the 3090?
The 3090 was like I've always found gaming so interesting, graphics cards specifically, because tech just gets so small, and
Oh, yeah,
gaming
3090.
does get smaller, but it costs so much money to make your computer smaller that just like
Yeah.
PC gaming computers are still gigantic,
Wow,
and we're
look
still
at how
spending
empty
so
the
much money.
studio was back
know.
then.
Oh my god.
So that was 4 years ago. We did a RTX 3090 with gaming in 8K, and it handled it, and we uploaded the video in 8K, and we nearly broke YouTube processing, but
It took like a week to process, I
it
think.
literally took a week to process in 8K. Yeah.
wow.
So I think what I always find interesting with graphic cards, especially from Nvidia being released, is there's always like two groups. It's what's like the cheapest one that I can compare to a previous series, and then what's the most expensive one.
Yeah.
Here we have the $2,000 5090, and one thing they said on stage was that the 5070 at $550 is comparable performance to the 4090
This is the one I saw the most chatter about.
for sure. I
Because
think that is the most chatter.
initially the reaction of, oh my God, the 5070 is cheaper than the 4090 and delivers the same performance.
Way
This is
cheaper.
amazing, great, universally positive. That's the first reaction. And then the second wave reaction that I saw was, wait a second. Really? And I think a lot of what Jensen, the CEO of Nvidia, said on stage about AI, frame interpolation, X percentage of these pixels are rendered, but the rest of them are AI generated. That being not exactly the same as a 4090 is what most of the conversation I've seen has been about. I still think it's going to be a good card. It's $550. It's going to give you great performance. Seems like it. Linus did a video of being the first one to game on one of these cards. Like, it looks like it's going to be a good card, but
So
I think that line was what got
In Linus's video, he got to try Cyberpunk on two computers right next to each other. One had a 4090 in it, one had a 5090 in it. And from the frames he was getting double the frames in Cyberpunk at like full settings. Now, there's a lot of questions to how it was set up in the like full
it's an
settings. He
internal
went through
demo.
it quickly.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to pick things that work really well. And there were some things that weren't quite perfect. I think one of them specifically was if you were moving really fast, the text in the like UI or like floating text was blurry, and some things weren't quite doing as well. So I'm interested to see what their real findings are when they're outside of the Nvidia booth that they got like captured into after the event.
people are going to find ways to expose the AI part.
I think the biggest question is like what you said, is if we're focusing so much on AI because they introduced Blackwell chipset or something in it, that there's so much AI, and they even said the reason the 5070 can be comparable to the 4090 would be impossible without the AI enhancements that they made.
Right.
So clearly there's a lot of AI helping in here, and whether those frames are comparable is what we will find out from all of these different, gaming channels that dive really deep into it.
Yeah.
But I think people listening to us that right now aren't calling us morons, because there's a lot of them, and I understand why you're doing it. The other type of people who are like, oh, cool, a 5070 might be somewhat comparable to a 4090 and for $550. Those people probably will be like, cool, I'm getting some frames, and things generally do look pretty good for this price tag. I think the 5070 looks like the more interesting lineup right now.
The architecture of the chip is obviously going to be focused on AI because that's what NVIDIA is focusing everything on right now. And something that AI is good at is upscaling. So I would imagine that a lot of the frames that they're quoting is with their enhanced upscaling capabilities. Because you can just interpolate frames and have them be a higher quality and also interpolate resolution. So I imagine the discourse when these cards come out is going to be like, well, what's the true performance? And then like, the upscaling kind of messed up here and it doesn't look perfect. And there's going to be a lot of discourse around that.
I almost want to make a graph of like the 4090 got here, and this new card is going to get slightly higher, but then plus AI.
Plus AI?
Makes it double. You're like, oh, okay.
And I think a lot of that will also depend on the how optimized games are for specific things like that as well. So like there could be some optimizations where some games are going to run way better on this new the AI chip or like the AI power from these new cards. So it's like every piece of tech, it's going to be super subjective to like what you're doing. And But either way, it's like I think this is hands down the most chatter from CES.
Yeah, it's funny. So the 5070 549, I've not followed this stuff super closely for a long time, but in, I don't know, 2015 or something, 2014, when the 970 came out, I remember that being a big deal because it had 4 gigabytes of video memory, except only 3.5 of those gigabytes. By the way, $349. So just saying, it was like $200 cheaper, and that was like considered a great deal.
Yeah.
But I had 3.5 gigs of super fast video memory, and then half a gig of super slow video memory. They got sued over it. I got a $35 check in the mail over a class-acting lawsuit.
Everyone's got that $30 check. Mine was from AMD a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Jensen wore this alligator
jacket?
Yeah,
We're
he
saying
changed his jacket to be an alligator leather.
We're saying it was the RTX jacket.
It was
the
kinda
RTX
RTX.
on jacket. Yeah.
He usually wears this jacket. It's like just a regular leather jacket that he wears at every single trade show.
But he upgraded it.
But he
this time.
upgraded it to, let me see if I can find a photo.
I'm sure if you generate $1 trillion in shareholder value, you can just grab a new jacket.
I think that's sort of what the vibe is. All the billionaires recently have been flexing
Crazy jackets.
Zuck has his chains,
Should we get new jackets?
We're not billionaires.
We're not $1 trillion yet.
I don't think we get to do that.
My favorite comment on one of the videos covering this was after he announced the pricing, he pulled out this like cardboard cutout of like the chip so that he could show what all the different things were physically.
Yeah.
But was holding in front of him was a big circle, and someone's like, he had to pull the shield out after he announced prices to the crowd that apparently just went kind of silent when the 5090 price got.
I watched one of those supercuts of like them showing the prices, and them showing the 5070 got a lot of people riled up, and then they revealed the entire price spectrum, and everyone went, oh.
I will say 5080 $999 to 5090 $1,999 is nuts.
That's crazy.
Like,
There's got to be a 5080 Ti coming out at some point,
Probably.
right? Or
maybe at
something's
Computex,
gonna
they'll do
slip in
5060
between there.
and 50.
So I have a question that might not be able to be answered if you haven't been in the thick of this for a while, but I'll throw it out there anyway.
I'll try.
Are GPUs in the same kind of category as smartphones where when the new one comes out, the last generation ones drop in price, where they might be a better deal?
They don't really sell them much anymore after that.
Okay.
Generally, it's like you have to get them secondhand, but they drop in price by a lot.
Right. Because nobody wants a 4070 anymore.
Yeah.
Even though it was probably just fine as a card literally a year ago.
Yeah.
So I
if
kind
they're
of
available, I'm sure they get grabbed pretty quickly
Yeah.
when they drop. And secondary market of GPUs is like the worst thing you could go into because they'll all be like lightly
Crypto
used,
mining.
and lightly used means like
For crypto mining. They've been
2 straight years of
mining
mining.
for 2.5 years.
Straight, like
They will
literally
probably
never
just
turn
stop
off.
working soon. Yeah.
I have a question. Is this one of the first GPUs to quote to use AI to enhance performance?
Sure not,
No,
but
they've been
it's-
using the DLSS thing for a while.
Is it just like a rebrand of like now we're calling this?
I think they're
It's not
dedicating
even-
more compute specifically to drive that more. I think that, I mean, this is the whole theme of CES in general is how can we lean into AI making our stuff better? And if you're NVIDIA, it's let's make as many improvements to this specific technology in these GPUs as possible, even though it's existed for a while.
Yeah.
So that's how you get
Lots of
these
flops
numbers.
going on. That's how I know. I have
Teraflops,
no
baby.
idea what's going on,
Lots
and
of
we're just all
teraflops.
AI.
Don't fall for the
based
trap.
now.
So yeah, that was the headlining event was NVIDIA's announcements.
They also did a couple quick things that
Yeah.
David might be able to do
Yes.
better on, which was their like personal AI supercomputer
Yeah.
and this like robotic chip.
Yeah.
I tuned out for those,
yeah.
just being honest.
They announced your own personal supercomputer, which, to be clear, they also announced a like lighter, way cheaper version of this in December, which was $250 and could do 8 billion parameters. But they announced one at CES that can do 200 billion parameters and is $3,000.
And it's like the size of a Mac Mini.
It's like
it
the
was
size
like
of a
a
Mac Mini.
gold Mac Mini.
It sort of looks like a Mac Mini if it was 3D printed.
A current Mac Mini, like
Yeah,
the new-
current Mac
Oh,
Mini.
wow.
It's tiny. It's called NVIDIA Digits. It has 128 gigabytes of unified memory and 4 terabytes of NVMe storage. So definitely fast. You can link 2 of them together to handle 405 billion parameters. And for context, I think Meta's top tier Llama model is exactly 405 billion parameters. So it's like you could run your own top tier llama model on it for $6,000.
Yeah, I guess my primary question was going to be, what do you do with one of these that you wouldn't?
So it's mostly for startups and people that want to develop AI applications.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
But it is crazy because you used to have to like rent out like cloud processing for like a lot of money to be able to do this kind of stuff from different companies, and now you can have one locally.
The value proposition is like it runs dramatically faster and probably more efficiently if you have all this locally, and you can do way more development on that machine rather than depending on paying someone for cloud processing.
You own it in person instead of doing it in the cloud.
Got it.
And also you have access to all of NVIDIA's like, models and software libraries and development kits and stuff.
Which have great names, by the way.
Yeah.
They just all have great names.
They do.
Lots of llamas and stuff. It's just, it's great.
Yeah. So it runs on a Linux-based DGX OS and supports all these different frameworks. It's pretty cool for startups, I would say. Like, I think the $250 one is probably for like the hobbyist or high school student or college
AI
student.
hobbyist.
Which is becoming a thing.
It is.
Yeah, becoming a thing. But if you're a startup, like $6,000 to run the two of these in parallel and run like some of the top tier models is pretty good value proposition.
Yeah.
I did not pay much attention to the robotics thing. Did you?
I didn't. Okay, here are the two things that I remember from it, and they're going to be extremely vague.
Okay.
And one is just more funny. So the one thing I saw is that they were developing some sort of like, I don't know if like digital teaching for humanoid robots. So like the reason we can do all this automation in cars is because we can attach cameras to cars and figure that out. Whereas we can't just send like test humanoid robots out all over the place. So they have a lot of video that they're taking from to teach robots digitally and do all of these different like tasks and stuff in a digital world. So it's not creating massive wear and tear on robots and chaos, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool. But
NVIDIA
I
has
fully
also
understand.
done that to train its car systems.
Okay.
It's like car visual learning
Like
systems.
digitally.
It trains them in a virtual world. So it can do it way faster and without actually hurting anybody.
If we kept all of it in that digital world, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
The other funny thing I just saw is, I'm pretty sure it was on his screen and not physically, but he like talked about this robotic chip and how like this new chip could power a robotic brain or like a function, something of it. And they brought up all these different potential like humanoid robots in the back, and Tesla Bot just wasn't one of them, which I thought was funny.
This is going to be
Optimus.
Atlas was there.
Atlas was there.
really?
Oh, so
Wasn't there?
Optimus was not. No, yeah, Atlas was there. Optimus was
This is going to be the EV week at the White House moment, except for robotics, huh?
Well, Tesla makes their own chip, right? Or do they use
they
NVIDIA
do.
chips? So they make their own chips. So maybe NVIDIA is just trying
It's
to show
probably
things
that.
that use their own
Oh,
chips.
does
I
the
don't
Boston
know.
Dynamics one use an NVIDIA chip?
I
Probably.
wouldn't be shocked.
I
have no clue.
I don't know, to be clear. But yeah, I would assume that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So speaking of robots,
Yes.
let's move to something far more important.
Okay. So I went through and just kind of
baby.
picked out a bunch of fun CES picks. Lots of weird stuff, lots of fun stuff. The first one, because Andrew said we're speaking of robots, there are many new robot vacuums, like many new ones. And the fun thing about CES this year is that there are so many different robot vacuum companies now that they all have to differentiate themselves somehow. So they're all doing the robot vacuum thing, but also doing really weird other stuff.
Nice.
So I listed some of the most fun ones. There's the SwitchBot K20 Plus Pro, horrible name, which is also an air purifier, security camera, and iPad holder.
Wow, Astro
Wait, that-
could never.
It sounds like DJ Roomba from Parks and Rec.
It kind of is. There's the Eufy Clean E20, which allows the suction part to detach, and then you can attach a stick vacuum to the suction part. So that it's like multi-stage.
It corners.
You can do the corners better.
Or so I guess like it can do one room, but then you can attach it and pull it up to another room and manually.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Kind of cool.
Feels-
Yeah.
It might be one of those things where like something that tries to do multiple things just does both of them worse, but
I 100% believe that.
there were multiple robots that have little like side things that come out to clean corners that are better than they used to be. The Dreamy X50 Ultra can go up short stairs.
Okay, I was just going to say that. I need the one where like the legs pop out and like tiptoe up, up my stairs.
It has these weird. I don't even know what to call them. They're
Like
wheels,
treads?
but they're like triangular wheels that kind of like pull it up the stairs like this.
Okay.
But it can't be big stairs. It has to be like really short steps.
Oh, I was gonna say because I'm in a ranch, but I do have
is.
2 stairs between my like living room, front hallway, and the rest of my house. So I need
can
something
ramp
that
that
can just do
big.
2 stairs.
Oh.
They're normal size stairs.
Oh dang.
You could drop a ramp down for the little robot.
Yeah.
Make
Kind
it
of like
ADA accessible.
I would
like
I would have to make like
cat
a
ramp.
15-foot ramp to
Yeah.
go up 2 stairs. Just
And it's always dirty under the ramp, but the robot always goes up the ramp.
Yeah. But I think the weirdest and most fun one is the Robobox Saros Z70, which has a little mechanical arm that pops out of the top and it can pick up things like your socks and
That's what I'm
underwear
talking
from
about.
around your
Awesome.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you can set designated locations for it to just like collect the laundry and put it in certain areas.
Oh my god. This is why, because you know how we were just talking about this? Like, there's a bunch of humanoid robots, and everyone's like, yeah, it could do your chores. It could, like, vacuum your house. Guys, the vacuum is the robot. It has a little arm, comes out, and, like, does stuff and, like, vacuums it. That's what it is.
Can I stress test this? Because having a toddler means my living room every single day is just.
Yeah. It can.
I don't think you understand how many toys get on the ground from one day
Yeah.
of playing. My night, every night, is putting all the toys back. I could watch. It would have to pick up 100 different things,
my God.
and I would love to.
How
see
much
how
time
it
do you
does.
have?
I would. I'll stress test.
It also has, I mean, the pincher claws are not like, they're not thick. They're very kind of like
They're
small.
mostly
Delicate.
small
Arrow.
toys.
Yeah, it shows
Send
a
us the
see this.
vacuums.
I
Send us
saw
the vacuums.
I saw a couple of videos of this, and there were a couple socks that it would like. It was kind of like a claw machine, where like it would get it most of the time, but sometimes it would like kind of get it, and it would dangle for a second, and then fall. But they're actually releasing this.
Yeah, but something
in
you
May or
said,
June.
it says it can hold 300
300
grams.
grams.
That's not. That's like barely half.
That's like
a pound.
less than the amount of like.
It's like a phone. Isn't a phone like 300 grams?
There's videos of it picking up shoes.
Okay.
Oh. Not high top Jordans.
When I say videos, I mean renders on their website. But
That's
it's
like a
showing
Birkenstock.
She must slower than that.
It's
yeah.
like an UGG boot. So
It is funny because like previously you had to keep your house really clean for these robots to work, or at least with nothing on the ground. And like
If it could pick a wire up and
That's
just
what I
like
was gonna
go
say.
underneath it,
the
that would
main thing.
That's the
Oh.
number one
good
killer
idea.
of robot.
yeah,
vacuums.
true.
The
USB-C
literally,
cables.
especially in this studio, because we've had plenty and we've tried a bunch. The number one killer of like walking in the next day and it's just like strangling itself with wires. Like it's just the wires
What
that
if
it has issues
we
with.
give it a pair of scissors? It cuts through the wires. There's
And then
no
behind
problem.
it like
Cut the
sews
red
them back
wire.
together.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
That could
It
be a
solders it back together on the back end.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that one's actually coming out in May or June of this year, which is hilarious.
Never stop CESing.
So yeah, I'm here for all the weird robot vacuums. There was one that could like it had a mop on it, but it would pick itself up like a short amount when it did carpet, so that the mop didn't touch the carpet and the vacuum part would still vacuum.
Oh, so it was both because you would
Yeah.
previously need a mop one and a vacuum one.
Yeah, it was one that like it would lift itself up after it mopped to do the carpet, and it would keep going. So it is very fun seeing all these companies go crazy with this.
Man.
Okay, second headline for CES.
Yeah.
You guys have heard of the LG StanByME Go,
Of course.
which we bought last year because it was
legend.
$1,000. That is the suitcase TV, I guess. Yeah, it's a TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we joked about bringing it on an airplane and stuff like that. Well, LG has announced the StanByMe Go 2, which is even more portable in some senses of the word. Whereas, because a suitcase TV, you couldn't actually take it out of the suitcase. It had like these mechanisms that kept it in the suitcase, but it could be angled.
Yeah.
This one is a fully it's just a display, but it comes with a strap, so you can like carry it around on your shoulder if you want.
Yeah, it's different.
It has a clamshell case that looks just like the iPad clamshell case that like closes on the front to protect it, and is also a folio, so it like can stand up on its own. And now the remote magnetizes to the top of it as well. So yeah, their booth at CES had them basically just like having the strap and just like hanging it on the wall. It's like, hang your TV on the wall when you get home.
But like hanging on the wall means it's just battery powered,
Yes, it's battery powered.
and the plug is on the side. So like
yeah.
it won't be as clean hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
But there is something really funny just
cable.
thinking about somebody shoulder slinging their StanByME Go and like
I mean, look,
walking around.
we
with
got
it.
you got the dancing pizza guys outside of pizza places, spinning the signs and stuff. Now you
True.
can spin a TV.
Just have a guy with a TV.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like a fast food drive-through sign. So you could
Yes.
put up like the menu on it, but in your house.
They last 4 hours,
Oh,
so it lasts 4 hours. Pretty good. USB-C charging.
It's actually longer than I thought you would say.
It's up to 14.
and still not anywhere near long enough.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. But it's up to 1440p instead of 1080 from last time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
is the perfect place to unveil that CES.
Yeah.
That's the perfect place.
LG does some weird stuff.
Evergreen.
I'm gonna jump to another LG one real
Okay.
quick. Just this is a personal favorite from CES, and I know some people might not find this that interesting, but I think it's cool as hell. This is a lamp / speaker / garden water.
The more slashes at CES, the better.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
I think it's quite attractive. It's
Go
like
on.
it's like an accent lamp, and then that lamp shines down directly on a garden that you can grow things in. That is auto watered from a reservoir in the lamp, and also it is a 120 watt 4.1 channel Bluetooth speaker system.
There also is a like side table version of
Life's
this.
good, baby. Life is good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the end table version of
There's
this.
two versions. There's a very
Yeah.
tall one, and then there's like a shorter end table version.
Yeah.
I think they're both cool as hell.
Before we leave the LG train, I just want to play to you the first 5 seconds of a reel from The Verge. They went to CES and they found another LG creation. So I just want to let you guys hear this real quick.
What was it? Does it say in the reel?
Have you ever wanted to use your microwave as a selfie camera?
Nice.
LG is there for you. Let me tell you.
Are they the ones that put the camera inside of the microwave too? Because someone put a camera
Probably.
inside the microwave so you can watch her. food
That's old
cooking.
news, though. What if you want to stand outside the microwave while it cooks your food and
Take
do a TikTok
selfies.
dance on the camera?
Oh.
Now you can.
Nice.
LG has made this possible. They're thinking of everything. we
Life's good, dude. As soon as they got out of smartphones, which was a stressful industry, and
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
decided to do whatever the heck they
side
wanted.
quests. Do you think that
Yeah.
the plant combo light speaker, when
Yeah.
you're blasting the speaker, will your plants be upset by the volume?
Depends.
No, that'll be good for
What
them.
are you blasting?
Probably good
Well,
for them.
see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're playing like
like-
metal music, are you playing like orchestral music?
Look, when you're pregnant, you play Mozart to your baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, right?
There's for sure been studies about people who, not people, but if you talk to the plants, they grow better. No?
I believe it. This is a science
I
podcast.
promise there's been A/B
Can we
testing of
fact
like people, and I'm just spewing misinformation now, but I've also read that, and I've looked into specifically money trees because I have one, and if you every once in a while just shake it because it just sits
Oh,
there,
but-
wait.
it shakes it as if it experiences wind and
Yeah,
gets
that's
stronger.
different. I've heard that for fiddly fig.
So that's like
Fiddly
you
bit.
have to pay attention to the plant a little bit, and I think if you play the right music, that speaker will help it grow better.
So
That-
do you come home and shake your plant?
Maybe.
He has
a
his
little
Google
bit.
task: shake money tree.
Just a little, yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Well, LG has unfortunately not announced pricing or availability of these
Dang it.
combination.
I actually want the plant side
Freakazoids.
table.
I want both of them, but they're probably going to be really expensive.
I want it with rosemary in it, so it just smells like
Dude,
rosemary in my room.
I was thinking you could grow like mint or something, and then you just always have fresh mint for your tea and stuff. Oh my god!
Also, I just Googled, should you shake your
time.
money tree? And the AI told me no. But if
That
it's working
explains
But
for
it's
you,
like flourishing. It's like doing so well.
then
you
keep
shake
keep
And
doing
I
that.
also like talk to it. So
Yeah.
it's one of those two things. that's
Something's
helping it for
working.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
Okay.
LG's out there.
LG's out there. Okay, next. Do you guys remember Bird Buddy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we talked about this on the podcast previously, and I believe that they sent us
have one,
a
yep.
Bird Buddy to use after we called them out on the podcast. That was a camera that you would put, like, it's like a smart bird feeder, basically, and it would take pictures and analyze birds that showed up to your bird feeder and be like, oh, you've got a mockingjay today, and it would be a funny photo of the bird. They have expanded, or should I say shrunk.
This is such a good like Shark Tank story.
Yes. So now they are doing plants and bugs with a new bird buddy feeder. They rebranded or like put themselves under an umbrella of Wonder now. So there's all these like Wonder devices.
Okay.
But Yeah, now they have these special cameras that you put on your plants, and some of them have their own solar panels, and you can sort of contort the camera around different things. So there's some that you can basically use as a vine to go like around,
Like GorillaPod style.
Yeah, it's the GorillaPod camera.
to be able to point at certain things in a special way. They look really good and they're cute and they kind of go all over your garden, but they also will like recognize different bugs and they'll say this butterfly is this. And then one of the few actually good uses of a chatbot, it will tell you about all of the bugs and stuff and summarize all of the bugs that came to your garden, and you can ask them about the bugs that came to your garden, which I
can't
think
wait till
is
you
very
spend
adorable.
$300 on this to be like, that's the invasive blank beetle. So enjoy the tree service where you have to cut down 8 trees for $1,500.
It's just like 200 lanternflies.
That's what you get in New Jersey. It would just be like, you got nothing, you got nothing, you got one spider, you got 150 lanternflies.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So they also created these new things called Wonder Blocks, which are these modular systems that you can put around to attract different types of bugs and butterflies and stuff. And they sell things like a plant base, a butterfly feeder. It basically looks like a little honeycomb nest, but you can grow plants in them. It's cool. Like they really took a phenomenon and ran with it, which I think they're doing a great job.
The
Very
last
cool.
line in the Verge article is Petal and Wonder Blocks will be available on Kickstarter in the spring of this year with no details on price. So it's an announcement
Also true.
of a Kickstarter.
Kickstarters are weird now, though, where like these companies that are established already do it, and it just feels like a different way of pre-ordering.
Yeah.
I imagine they're using it to try to find how much demand there is before they start ordering and shipping and all that production stuff. But that's your asterisk.
Because
there.
Bird Buddy is already a company that
Sure.
delivers a product.
But
So
how much could they be making? So,
beats me.
yeah.
Their stuff's pretty good. I like my
need
Bird Buddy.
Kickstarter, yeah. Oh yeah, you have the Bird Buddy.
I do.
How is it still operational?
I need to get a new post for it so I can bring it closer to my house because my Wi-Fi signal was having a little issue with it and it was just dying a bit faster because of it. So yes, I'm in the process of creating a stake. It is so cold outside though that it is not a priority.
Not a
list
lot of
thing
birds
for me.
Fair.
They also said that they're going to be selling a optional solar panel that goes on your roof that can power the cameras and stuff. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
I do feel like the downfall of a lot of these outdoor things is you need a really good router for your signal to be able to reach into your yard, and mine is not good enough.
No, that's a really good point because we wanted to get one for my father-in-law, but their internet and router is terrible. But he's a big bird fan. But I literally don't think I could set one up at his house.
I got birds, boy.
We got birds.
Do we want
Now
to
we
do
got
car
bugs,
stuff
too.
at the end of the CES stuff, and we'll go through all the other stuff first?
Yeah, let's do cars and the 2 keyboard things after
the
the
end.
break.
Okay.
And we'll rip the rest of this up now.
Okay, you've heard of Dell.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Dell seems to have taken a lot of tech YouTubers' advice in a certain direction. There are many companies that create bad naming schemes for their stuff. Sony actually did the same thing last week. They named a pair of headphones like Sony Ultra Max or something.
And they went like self-aware.
That's not what they're called, but
And made
they made a
bunch
self-aware
of-
meme about it, which
It
was
was awesome.
funny. But Dell did basically the same thing. So you remember the XPS brand? Dell XPS has been a tried and true, beloved.
One of the more established brands in the PC space.
Quite like people that are into tech know about this brand.
Yeah, it would be a shame if something happened to it.
Well, that did. So, unfortunately, the shame was shamed. We no longer have Inspiron, XPS, or Latitude. Now we have Dell Pro, and you guessed it, Dell Pro Max.
Whoa.
This is not a joke. Unfortunately.
When I told Marquez that on like Monday, there's some things that just get Marquez to do the perfect, just like head down disappointment. And that was one that I haven't seen in a while.
I saw something on Blue Sky where someone was like, now that all the companies are naming things Pro and Pro Max, Apple should just change it to something else.
You know what's actually worse about this is they still subdivide each tier
Yes.
by premium, plus, and base.
Yeah.
So you can get the Dell base or the Dell plus or the Dell premium.
Yeah.
Or the Dell Pro base, the Dell Pro plus, the Dell Pro premium, or the Dell Pro Max base, the Dell Pro Max plus, or the Dell Pro Max premium.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's
I think like online, this is not going to be as big of a deal because the options will be right in front of you and you can see the changes. But someone trying to sell this in a Best Buy store is going to have the worst time.
Here's an interesting counterpoint. Was it always clear to the average person who is walking into a Best Buy and about to buy a laptop which one they should buy, XPS, Inspiron, or Latitude?
No. I feel like looking
This
at the
potentially
specs,
like puts it in order better.
Yeah.
Just makes it more annoying, you know?
it's not worse necessarily.
It's just cringy.
It's just cringe.
It's only because it's Pro Max. If it was like,
yeah.
like
If it was Pro Plus, it would be not as bad, honestly.
It's just, yeah.
Or if they just said, like, if they didn't have these sub tiers and they just said it's configurable, I think that would be fine.
I do think that's where you lose, like, somebody who doesn't know much about laptops wants a very distinct naming of like base, middle of the ground, best.
Yeah, but I think they could have done Dell, which it's just called the Dell.
Well, the Dell Base or the Dell Plus or the Dell Premium. Yeah.
The Dell base.
Yeah.
Give me the what?
Give me the base Dell.
Jeez.
Give me
Okay.
the Plus. I don't know.
I don't. But you could have walked into a store and you could have said, "Oh, I like the way that one looks. What are the specs?" Like Best Buy could carry like 3 SKUs of each without naming them something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not like against this. I just think it's a little cringe, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be a little cringe.
You're allowed to be cringe.
Yeah.
You're allowed to kill your best, most successful brand name you've had in years.
Which, to be fair, like XPS was the only, like we knew Inspiron, but we also knew them as like the really cheap like school laptops that were bulky and not that good.
Did anyone here have a Dell Latitude that was an absolute unit? Those things are bricks.
I had one from like 2005 or something. It was my first laptop ever, and it was insanely thick.
Indestructible.
Indestructible.
I miss Sony Vaio.
Well, Vaio got split off.
Yeah, I'm just saying I miss it.
Oh.
There's no rhyme or reason for it.
Yeah.
That was my like
it back.
my 8th grade home computer.
Yeah.
Big old Sony Vaio.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
they were cool. Okay.
I think that's everything except for keys and cars.
Keys
Keyboards.
and cars.
Should we do keys and cars after the break?
We can do that after the break, I think.
Okay.
Keys and cars after the break. You heard it here first. But that does mean we have one more break to do some trivia.
Scooby-Doo-Ba-Dow. Trivia, dude.
All right. Our second question for you today is Bing is clearly trying to do everything in its power to stay relevant and including tricking users, but they have to hold on to that number 2 search engine spot by US market share. Who holds number 3 spot in the US market share for search?
I'm also going to say this is based on something we had written in the script that we haven't talked about yet, so we will talk about that. Bing tricking people after the break as well.
We'll get there.
True.
See you soon. So we'll be the first to tell you that not everything goes to plan. Life comes with its own set of curveballs for you to handle, especially when it comes to protecting your family. So while you can't foolproof your life, with the Life 360, you can family-proof your family. Life 360 is a location-sharing app that makes family life easier. Knowing where everyone is at any given time makes coordinating daily routines and activities a breeze. And you can attach Life 360's tile trackers to all of your family's important stuff and track them right within the app. So whether that's your keys, wallet, even the family pet, if it tends to go missing, then it's a pretty good candidate for a tile tracker.
So I've been using the Life 360 tile trackers, and I'm someone who is chronically on time. And the only thing that will make me late is the fact that I can never put my keys down in the same place in my house. So honestly, the tile tracker on my keys has been like one of the best things ever. I have it right here. It's in this cool blue and orange. But the other thing that has become super great is there's a sticker version for my remote, which was never a problem until Lane learned how to walk. And now my remote generally finds itself in a pile of toys or under the couch.
Nice.
So now, instead of having to search the entirety of my living room, I can just ring it. Thanks, Lane.
So this year, you can stay connected with the location sharing and stay coordinated with the place alert notifications for when someone arrives or leaves a given location. You can family-proof your family with Life 360. Visit life360.com or download the app today and use code WAVE to get 15% off. That's life360.com, code WAVE. Support for Waveform comes from Netsuite. Despite our best efforts, it's impossible to know what the future will bring. There's no crystal ball to tell you when the bull market might turn into a bear market or when rates might rise or fall. But the best any of us can do is to be prepared for any outcome. And for that, you might want to try NetSuite by Oracle. Almost 40,000 companies choose NetSuite to help future-proof their businesses so they can stay on track no matter what the future brings. NetSuite is a top-rated cloud ERP bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one UID platform with one single source of truth. So NetSuite offers real-time insights and data that you can use to help make the right decisions at the right time. All to help you close the books in days, not weeks, so you can spend less time looking backwards and more time on what's next for your business. Whether your company is earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite can help you respond to immediately challenge and seize opportunities. Speaking of opportunity, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/waveform. So the guide is free to you at netsuite.com/waveform. It's netsuite.com/waveform. All right, welcome back. CES. CES is a fun show because obviously there's lots of like robot vacuums and consumer gadgets and drones and stuff like that. But there's also this whole like section that's just cars every year. There's just
It's like
car
vehicle.
stuff.
There's also like boats and
Vehicles
tractors
in general.
and stuff. Yeah,
Totally.
that's-
And the meta with CES is it always feels like it's like a vibe check on like what's the theme with tech this year. Sometimes it's 3D. Sometimes it's curved displays. Sometimes it's 2025 and it's just AI in everything. And so if you ever go to the car section of CES, what you will find is a mixture of like regular cars and then future concept, prototype, not real cars that may never ship, but more are like a concept of mobility, like super vague stuff like that. And those are interesting, I would say, but usually not ever going to come out. Some of the stuff we have here are right in between, I would say. First one, CES car headline. So remember the Afeela?
Yes.
The Sony car? Sony and Honda collaborating on making a car. This was like 2 CESs ago we first saw this, and we've seen
I think it was way longer
Might have been
than
3.
that. No?
It was
We've seen it a few times.
2022, I think.
Either way.
I remember
They
seeing a
announced
Sony car.
Right.
2023, I think they showed it off for the first time. 2022 is when they announced it.
Because it was like, it was
Well,
a
that
car.
They were going to do something.
Yeah, it was a car in the Sony booth, and we were all like, whoa, Sony? Well, I guess Sony does make screens, and Sony does make display, like motors. Maybe they can make a whole car.
So there was just because I remember physically seeing it, there was the Vision S01, which was in 2020.
Concept vehicle.
Yeah, that was concept vehicle. It was just like a car that was just sitting there at the CES show floor.
And then Vision S02 was 2022.
And then Vision OS was 2024.
So here we are in 2025, and Sony and Honda are officially collaborating and announcing a price that you will be able to buy this car. Maybe.
What is the price?
The price is it will start as $89,900, so it will not be cheap. It's called the Afeela 1 Origin. There also will be a higher-end $103,000 signature version of this car. People who have been looking at this car, I mean, it looks like a regular Honda. I think it's reasonable to say.
Looks kind of lucid-y almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's an EV. It's a brand new look. Obviously, Sony's got a little injection of design. There's also a subscription associated with the car. You get the first 3 years free, but that includes Afeela Intelligent Drive, Level 2 ADAS, apparently, immersive entertainment selection, customizable themes, and Afeela Personal Agent. This is, like I said, it's right in the middle of CES cars.
Because everything hardware-wise about this car looks super reasonable for CES. Like, it has some screens and stuff. It has, a sleek, minimalistic
port.
design.
NACS port.
But nothing on the inside is like no mirrors or no steering wheel or like that. It seems normal.
This looks like an Accord from 2025. It looks like a normal looking car on the outside with some nice screens. But being Sony, not sure. Being a new brand, not sure. It's collaborating with Honda, but it's $90,000. Who buys a $90,000 Honda? Like, there's a bunch of questions still about this thing.
I have 2 things to say about this.
Okay.
One, Mr. Stark, I'm not Afeela so good.
Oh my God.
2, for this price, they should really be putting a PS5 in the car.
Hey, wait a minute.
Well, hold on.
You might be
hang on.
onto something.
That's the difference between the Origin and the Afeela signature. One's a PS5, one's a PS5 Pro.
For like another $12,000.
Those
Yeah.
have big screens in the back.
I think only the signature has the big screens, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, is it?
That
Yeah,
checks
I
out.
believe
yeah.
so.
I mean, for $100,000, yeah, Jesus, these are.
That's an expensive car.
It's an
Like a
expensive
Lucid is like that price, right?
You can get a Lucid for that price, yeah, a new one.
There's something so funny about having the big screens in the back, but also under the seat, still having like the cigarette lighter power port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pre-order it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But only in California.
Oh, that's very CES.
Like only in California.
Wow. So if I'm in New Jersey, and
CS
I
is
want
in
one-
Vegas, actually.
Well, I'm just saying.
I know,
like,
isn't that funny?
they're so not sure about shipping this that they're like, how about just California?
California.
I think we can ship this in California.
The people that have a lot of money and are willing to buy an EV.
yeah.
Yeah. They said a global launch is coming later, but
Sure.
no
Allegedly.
details on that.
I like how it's
Allegedly.
like there's two options: California only, global launch.
Yeah.
Not even
We can make it
nationwide
here,
launch.
We can make it anywhere, baby.
Yeah. It's a $200 down payment. So,
Okay.
or,
What a
you know,
steal.
Or down
interest-free
payment,
loan,
or
sorry.
yeah, pre-order.
interest-free
yeah.
loan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. CES car story number 2. Do y'all remember Faraday Future? When I say that name, does that ring any bells?
That's a word I haven't heard in a long time.
Oh yeah. 2017, I made a video
Yeah.
showing the Faraday Future FF91. I don't know if you remember this.
I do.
They actually had a separate engineering development car that was near final, and then they had a aesthetically finished car. So
Yeah.
they would give me a ride in the engineering car, and I remember the guy like floored it, and he was like, "That's better than your Model S, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty quick." And then they had the aesthetically finished car, which was mostly kind of a clay model that you could maybe roll on the stage, but like point your camera at it, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was 2017. Yeah. It's 2025 now.
Wow.
And they are showing some new prototypes at CES.
Here we go again.
They've been at CES, I'm pretty sure, every year since 2017. The FF91 they still want to ship, and they still claim that they're going to produce, and it will be $300,000. Oh my God. But
I found
some new cars.
I found a funny thing in this before we get into the new ones.
Yeah.
In one of these articles, I found a quote that says, "The announcement of the new brand comes just months after Faraday Future disclosed to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission that it only delivered 10 cars by the end of 2023.
And I would put an asterisk on those 10 cars too. So like 10 sounds like not that much, but
It
to
sounds
me,
like
someone who's been
more.
hearing about Faraday Future, I'm like 10?
They delivered 10?
Really? Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're coming with some new prototypes that they want to target $20,000 to $30,000 to $50,000 in price, which is very noble. It's what you probably would like to get to at some point. But yeah, this is also, I would say, very, very Faraday Future in that they have continued to attempt to get funding and to try to sell this idea of a new brand. The only startups that have really hooked are Rivian, Lucid, Tesla, right? As far as EVs. I mean, that's it as far as here. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a challenge
yeah.
getting a company like that off the ground, but Faraday Future's still at it. CES.
The thing I'm most confused about is I saw all the stuff that they're announcing it at CES. I have not seen any coverage of these new vehicles at CES at all. Like I can
haven't
find
either.
something about Faraday Future to host exclusive private showcase and experience in Las Vegas of prototype mules. But like I've seen
This-
when I search it, nothing's coming up, and CES has been going on for like 3 days now.
We literally, we were all at that
Yeah.
in 2017.
So I wasn't. That was the CES where Marques texted me and was like, "I think I need help." So that was pretty much as I started. So since I have been working at MKBHD,
Faraday's
that's
been
how
at
long we've been waiting for the FF91.
Dang.
They're
When
chipping
they
away.
actually release their car, you might get fired. You got to be careful.
I have a lot of job security, I feel like.
So yeah, they're Faraday Future's still doing their thing. Okay. The last headline I've pulled from CES cars that I thought was interesting is another Honda one, Honda Zero. It's another concept, but like more futuristic looking Honda cars, and these have torn people apart purely on aesthetics. So I have this link here. If you guys click and look at the top image in this, and you can see this SUV and the sedan. Before you answer, I suspect that you either think these are sick or you think these are horrible looking.
Jaguar.
I think they're sick.
You think they're sick?
I think they're sick.
Really?
Yeah.
The one, okay, so there's two. I will try and describe them. One looks like a kind of like that new Prius redesign, but larger
Talking
and
about the left one?
longer. The one on the
Longer.
left, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the right looks kind of like CRV mixed with the Hyundai N75. Was that what it's called?
N74?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
like
the
No, the
headlights.
N70.
because of like the headlights, the like very like futuristic, but the future is now trying to be like retro future with the like dot
Ionic.
lighting and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
The first one looks like if a Lamborghini was in Halo
Yeah.
1.
So it has the face of a Lamborghini Murcielago, Countach. It has the old Lamborghini face.
Okay.
Like I think they copied
From
old
the
Lamborghini
front,
face
yeah.
from the front. And then it's got this big sloping crazy thing. And it's a concept car. There's no rearview mirrors, no door handles, that whole thing. But still, silhouette goes hard. Then the right one, I think, yeah, you're right.
That's the
It's
way
like
to put it.
CRV
Oh, the
plus
back.
like Polestar because there's no rear visibility
The,
plus
the
Ionic.
back of the like
Looks
the
crazy.
first one you're talking about has kind of like, do you know those like infinity mirrors
Yeah.
where it's like
Yeah.
only like one set of lights, but the mirror make it look like it goes forever. That's what that
I
has
think
on the
that's
back.
illegal. I think there are lots of things about concept
there's
cars.
no door handles.
Yes, there are many things about these concept cars that will not make it to any sort of production car. But this is Honda's Zero concept, and it's named after their. They have an in-house OS they're developing named after Asimo, their humanoid robot from
Is
the
that the-
2000s.
Is that how
The
you
tiny
pronounce that?
little guy over here.
Asimo? Asimo?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm saying it
I
right.
don't know. These are all also only renders, right?
Yes,
Like there is not anything at CES about this.
correct. It's just announced as CES stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Good to
you
know.
know, CES.
It's
concepts.
just a vibe.
It's
It's all
exactly-
vibes
The
now.
Concept electronics show.
Basically.
The conceptual electronics show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the cars of CES.
That's fun.
Thank you for joining my TED Talk.
Thank you. Now, welcome to my TED Talk
Oh, here we
about
go. Yeah.
two keyboards at CES.
Okay.
I'll go pretty quick about this.
Let's go.
Ducky released a new inductive switch for mechanical keyboards, which is kind of cool, and I will try and get through it as fast as possible. So it's actually Cherry who developed a new switch they're calling multiple point switches. We've talked previously about how Hall effect switches are the new fad in gaming because
are.
of all the different
that.
rapid trigger and features you can add to it.
Mm-hmm.
Ducky 1X is launching with these Cherry multi-point switches that they're calling inductive switches. And the cool thing about this is they're far more energy efficient than the magnetic Hall effect switches.
The switches are more energy efficient.
Yes, and the reason for that is because you need all these different sensors inside the PCB for Hall effect switches, and because this is where I'm trying to get it from. I could not fully figure out how these worked, but it's some sort of metal device inside of the switch and then coils on the actual PCBA, which I learned the difference between a PCB and a PCBA is a PCB is an unfinished circuit board and a PCBA is a circuit board with all of its modules attached to it. So that makes me think that this is all the switches are attached and there's not much you can do. So I wonder what the modding category on this is for the nerds like me that like to do different things to their switches and keyboards. But anyways, what's really cool about this is we haven't seen any wireless or some but not many wireless Hall effect keyboards because of the inefficiencies of each
that's-
switch.
Because they take more
So-
power.
So this new Ducky 1X does have Bluetooth and 2.4 gigahertz because they're saying it's far more energy efficient and it has pretty solid battery life.
Interesting.
I think this is something that's going to be very popular because Ducky is already a popular brand
Mm-hmm.
in the gaming category. This will be popular for people who want those features that play games and want a slightly better keyboard, but don't really care about the stupid stuff I do where you're like spending hours looping switches and stuff.
Yeah.
So does this improve like latency?
It's not latency. It's the benefits of Hall effect and what these inductive switches are is there's not one actuation point. Anywhere in the keystroke, it can calculate and you can change per key where those actuation and deactuation points are. And there's a lot of cool things in gaming for, it's not physical latency, but it's more like how fast things react because you can do 0.1 millimeter is like the actuation point
Yeah.
for each key and stuff like that.
My God.
Exactly. The other thing I want you guys to click on this, I saw this, keep seeing this auto retracting keyboard.
Yeah.
So it's essentially, imagine like this big pad that you have in front of you, and then there are like a split keyboard.
I'm out.
Where you're typing. But if you want to use your number pad or your trackpad, they are underneath the split keyboards. And you like, if your right hand, you type, you lift your hand up and a camera sees it and it pulls away the keyboard and a trackpad pops up. And then you can use the trackpad and then you can lift your hand and then the keyboard swipes back in and you type. And then on the left, you lift your left hand up, numpad pops up.
I love how we just went from the most energy efficient kind of keyboard to the thing that probably needs its own power supply.
It has like a sound. This is good.
Oh, okay. That was a piece of foam falling off
that came
the
from there.
wall.
Cool.
It is cold. So
Luckily, that part's not on camera, so we don't have to fix it right now.
Wow.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it wasn't near your
I-
body at all, so.
I did fall in the
it did
background
hit
of
my
the shot, though.
Yeah.
Weird.
I just saw Mariah's face. Her
I was
eyes
like,
light up.
It's the lights again.
I know. She looked like what I looked like when the light fell on Adam's head. So I got very scared for a minute.
Well,
there.
you're wearing a hat. You're okay.
Yeah, that's we're all
One
good
more thing
there.
to know on these keyboards. I feel like we are just trying to recreate the like things from Wall-E where you just
You
get
don't
like
move at all?
wheeled around and you just don't move at all and you just kind of do this to exist.
So I think there's potentially, at best here, like some accessibility
Totally.
benefits.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a mainstream thing. It's also
Paralyzed and you can't do this kind of movement. I
yeah,
could
like
see
you
that
have
being
very
useful.
specific hand movement and can't go that far left or right. This might be super useful. The thing is like, look how large. I mean, what I'm assuming power supply for this thing
Is in that
underneath
base
is
system.
like a foot and a half
Motors
tall
and-
in
Oh my
front
God.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where I put my keyboard on my desk, I literally wouldn't be able to fit
That's
the
a good
rest
point.
of it on there.
Yeah.
We need something to go on that plate in the front nearest to you, maybe some kind of like food apparatus so you don't have to move your head or neck as well.
Exactly. It needs the little arm from the robot
ramen.
vacuum to just feed me Doritos when
There's a tiny microwave in there.
They're cooking. They're making
They're
something.
cooking.
They're
Yeah.
kicking.
Um,
Wow.
I think that wraps up CES for us.
Mostly, yeah.
I think that does. There is one thing we did not mention before, but since the trivia question is based on it, I want to go over it. It's about Bing.
Wait, can we play this before we do the Bing segment?
Hi, I hope you're having a big-tastic day. What can I help you with? Oh, never been here before. Well, that's just the thing. You can find all things with the Bing. We are more than a search engine. We are an engine that searches Google. Yeah, Google is the leading search engine in the world, and it was founded in... You know what I mean. Take me to Google. Get me up out of here, man. Take me to Google now. Right through that door is...
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor, Marquez? Can you go to Bing.com right now?
Yes, I can.
Did they not get rid of this yet?
It worked for me yesterday.
I'm on
Can you
Bing.com.
type in Google and tell me what it does?
Google.
doesn't do it.
And not hit enter?
It's not doing it.
It doesn't do it anymore. We'll try it
enter.
on his.
Enter.
No, they changed
got rid
it.
of it
This
after
worked
that.
yesterday.
All right.
What
Okay,
did it do before?
This is what it looked like when you would do it before.
No way.
And funnier. Okay, so for audio listeners, essentially when you would type in Google and hit enter, this like it wouldn't say Google, but what do they call it? Google Doodles.
Yeah.
So there would be this Google Doodle-esque picture of a bunch of different people, and then a search bar underneath it, and then under it a bunch of the
Search
results for Google. The best part about this is if you were in this, if you scrolled up, it revealed where the Bing search bar was. So it wasn't just making this page,
making a
it
whole
was
new search bar.
auto scrolling down. So you didn't see the Bing bar above to tell that you were still on Bing.
Oh my god.
It was
Imagine
so
working
funny.
for Bing and being like, I got it. This is what's gonna happen. People are gonna come to Bing, they're gonna type in Google, and then we got them.
I'm so mad it
Have
doesn't
to
work
trick
for
people
you.
into using this.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, they really changed it. That's so funny. Well, like one of someone who worked for Google that works on Google search tweeted like imitations the sincerest form of flattery, and then just wrote new year, new low at Microsoft.
It says
so-
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but Microsoft spoofing the Google homepage is another tactic in its long history of tricks to confuse users and limit choice.
New year, new low, Microsoft.
New year, new low.
Was this for like a special occasion or they just felt like felt like doing it.
I mean,
It went on for like a week. I have a feeling it was just
yeah. So I saw this as a Reddit post on r/Google like a week and a half ago, and then it got picked up by news organizations like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think
You tried.
they really thought that the AI-ification of Bing was going to be their moment, and it just wasn't. So
Yeah, they did have a moment there, but now,
they thought,
yeah, they thought that's
Yeah.
brutal. Well,
yeah,
CES, by the way, so we're recording this on Wednesday. CES will continue to happen for the next few days. So there's probably going to be even more crazy stuff that we don't even know about between now and when you see this on Friday. So send it to us if you think we should check it out next week. But either way, that's it. That's all
That's it.
we've seen.
We do want to say one thing. There's some crazy fires going around in Los Angeles. So if you're a listener from over there, please be safe. We wish you the best. Sending out good vibes to all of you. And yes, stay safe out there. But I think it's time.
trivia.
Thank you.
Sorry, was that too soon?
No, I almost was like,
I was waiting for the pause.
I didn't want to be. It's always you who throws it, so it felt wrong for me to do it. So I was going to
as long
let you
as you do
throw.
the pause, it's great.
All right.
Okay.
Hit it,
Amazing.
Mariah.
All right, would we like to know the current standings? Or
Yes.
Oh, yes.
No.
So the current standing for season 5 that we just started is Marques has 2 points, Andrew has 0 points, and David has 4 points.
That's wild. Andrew, you know you can carry the line.
Hey.
But yet I've still never won a trivia extravaganza.
There's still time. There's still time.
Okay.
Quick refresh. Our question number 1 for you today is about CES. So in CES 2025, we've already seen some crazy cool stuff. And I want to know which of these is not a real product from this year's CES. So we have option A is the Razer heated and cooled gaming chair. Option B is a 3D printer that makes cake batter and then cooks it with a laser. Option C is the Samsung stretchable display that just kind of bulges a little bit. Don't know why. And option D is that fun little critter that hangs on your bag.
I need to see a photo.
And then E
of
is
that,
the-
And
if
then
it
E
real.
is all of the above.
Okay. And then
So which is not real?
okay. Boom.
It's getting cold in here.
So cold.
It's very cold.
I can't feel my fingers.
For those of you who don't know, we turn the AC/heat off every time we do the pod because it makes noise right onto our microphones. And so whatever the temperature is outside, the temperature in here as we record slowly goes towards whatever the temperature is outside.
The
So
room is
during the
50%
summer-
windows.
And
Yeah.
it's like 23 degrees.
During the summer, it heats up. During the winter, it gets cold.
For the Europeans out there, that's like -5
Oh.
C.
It's chilly.
All right, gamers, what do we got? All right, David said option B.
I said B.
What did you say,
I said
Andrew?
all real.
All real.
And I said option A, the Razer.
wow.
no,
I
saw
know
that.
Marquez is wrong because I saw that.
Dang it. I thought I would have seen it.
The
So,
furry creature is also real. I saw
Andrew
that too.
is correct.
Dang.
All of these
It's
are
always
I
real
thought
all
they
the
would
above.
probably all be real, but like, I thought they would have. Okay.
Here,
I don't need to
y'all got to
explain.
see
I
this
always-
this crazy
I need
little
to see
guy.
the creature. Can you put it in our
Dude,
Slack?
it's,
Yeah, take a
it's
little look at
weird.
him.
I've seen it. I knew it was real. It just kind of hangs there and then just kind of like turns its head and stares at you.
Same. He's a silly little
It's
guy.
in waveform.
It's like a pink sloth that just kind of like turns its head around.
It's a little cuter than like a Furby, I would say.
That's low bar.
Question 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Andrew got 1 point.
Oh, who's the
Carrying the one.
Give you that one. All right. So question 2 today is Bing is obviously trying to trick people into using its search engine. No surprise. So they are the number 2 search engine by U.S. market share. Who is the number 3 spot holding the market share for search in the U.S.?
I have 3 guesses. I feel like
There's only so many companies. Man, you guys are really thinking about this.
I have 2 options that I ruled out, but
that you ruled out.
yeah. Well, yeah. A kind of a guess, though.
Okay, wait. Before you say it,
Yeah.
can I say what my 3 guesses are?
Yeah.
Not that which one I put down.
Yeah.
Okay.
DuckDuckGo,
Right.
Okay.
Yahoo,
Right.
Oh.
Ask Jeeves.
Interesting.
It's
I feel like we've talked
just
about
called
Ask Jeeves not
Jeeves.
that long.
It's just
Yeah,
called
it might be
ask.com
Jeeves.
It's just
Oh, it's
Jeeves.
just ask.com?
Oh,
I think it's just
asked,
ask.com.
Is it just ask.com now?
I ruled,
Although
All right, I'm gonna show you my board.
Okay, show me what you got.
I put Yahoo and I ruled out MSN and ChatGPT.
Oh, MSN.
Because I think people might be using ChatGPT that much.
God, I hope
Right.
not.
Link aggregation?
Well, they do
There's
have
a
the
search
chat.
engine.
They do have the search engine,
But it's still kind of in like private. It's not like
beta.
I also put Yahoo.
I put DuckDuckGo.
All right. Well, David is incorrect, unfortunately for him. But the both of you are correct.
Okay, let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
I was between Yahoo and DuckDuckGo.
Probably my dad. I would guess. I would guess.
People, I mean, Yahoo's a big like news aggregator website, and so
Yeah.
people who just go to yahoo.com, that's just where they.
That was my. I think DuckDuckGo is like the non-tracking version, right?
Yeah, it's
That's
privacy
what people
focused.
like.
Yeah, but
privacy focused.
I think they
but
got
I think they got in trouble
Hot
for that
for
also.
tracking or something. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
Nothing is good anymore.
I'm happy I got a point.
Nice. Well, David's still in the lead by 1 point.
Let's go.
Andrew, you have a chance now.
That
got a whole year.
changed the dynamic of that completely. It was
It's
2-3-4
2-3-4 now.
2-3-4 now.
Yeah. Do you like my
Let's go.
duck?
Oh,
Duck is like the only.
enhance.
I don't really know how to draw it.
Adam, zoom into that. Look at this little guy.
Well done. It's out of focus now.
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, that's our show for this week. Lots more CES stuff coming. So, like I said, send it to us. Tag at Waveform. We'll find it. And of course, thanks for watching and listening as always. And we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Big year. Bye.
Waveform is produced by Adam Molina, Ellis Roven, and Mariah Zank. We are partnered with Vox Media Podcast Network, and our intro outro music was created by Vane Sill.
Bingo. Nvidia's queen.